Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Duvall and I'm the Assistant Branch Manager at Ascension Parish Library, Dutchtown. In this video, we will be looking at high school resources that you have access to through your library card. These resources can be good for homeschooling, of course, but they can also be good for learning enhancement and test preparation if your child is getting close to needing to go to college or to look at specific jobs outside of the college fields. We will also look at the Louisiana Believes website to look at the Common Core state standards for your child's grade and subjects. This can be very useful if you need help creating a framework for your homeschool curriculum. We will also be looking at our resources, of course, at www.myapl.org. I hope you find some useful information in this video. Let's look at some state standards for your high school student. Here at louisianabelieves.com, you go to Teaching and Learning, Louisiana Student Standards, Academic Standards Library, and your standards are right here, but I do want to show you Browse by Category so that you can also look at planning resources. When you go to planning resources, you pick which subject, and you'll have those standards again right here. But you'll notice there's a lot of other useful material that could be helpful if you're using similar curriculum or the same curriculum that the public schools would use. And let's look at the student standards for science. We'll look at earth science. And you'll notice the standards look a little bit different. The codes are a little bit different. But these standards are addressed in some of the resources that we have through the library. Science Flix in particular, it corresponds each of its lessons, each of its subjects, all of its content to specific standards. And you'll notice, and I'll show you in a few minutes in this video, you'll notice that it correlates to the exact standards that you see here in the Louisiana state standards. So it's set up by performance expectations, a clarification on that, and it gives you practices and ideas and concepts with that standard. So this is all accessible to you through louisianabelieves.com. Let's go ahead and look at some of our resources. Before we begin looking at the different resources, I want to show you how to access them. With some of these upper level resources, there are multiple ways to reach them on our home page. Here we are at www.myapl.org. Some of our resources are directly on our home page. If you come down here, you can see our scholastic sites like Science Flix, which we'll go over later, and our World Book products are right here on our home page. Other resources are accessible by clicking on Online Learning. We will be going over Mango, Universal Class, and Learning Express Library in this video. And yet another way to reach these sites is through hitting Research Databases. Here you log in with your library card number, and you'll see our databases and the statewide databases you have access to, alphabetized and listed here. Pronunciator is one of the databases we will be going over, and it is right here. And you'll notice as we continue down, you'll get to Science Flix, you'll get to World Book and Universal Class. So this is the research database page. And those are the different ways to reach our resources. Access Science is one we'll go over as well in this video. This is Science Flix. Science Flix is a scholastic site that is helpful for both middle school and high school grades. grade ranges, so there's a little bit of flexibility with this site. You'll find the lesson plans have their corresponding standards. They look a little different, and I'm going to show you how you can easily check the age appropriateness of a particular lesson if you're a little unsure. As always, you can refer back to the Common Core standards and the grade level expectations that are given on Louisiana Believes. But I want to show you how to get to our lesson plans as always. When you get to the lesson plans, you can pick a specific lesson that you'd like to look into. You'll notice the lessons are linked to the specific science, specific category of study. We go to extreme weather. You'll first get your standards. Now, you can always go back to Louisiana Believes, but another quick way to figure out, well, what are these standards? If these are, are these ones that my student really needs to look at for this year? You usually have a good idea depending on what kind of science you're studying, but if you're really wanting to look back deeply to the standards, copying and pasting, you'll easily get to the next gen science. And you'll get to your standards. You'll get the complete layout of what the standard is, clarification statements, and you'll get towards the bottom how appropriate this particular lesson is for your child. And you'll have some that build upon middle school, you have some that build upon elementary school, it just kind of depends. If you keep on looking at the lesson, you'll have your time, you'll have the materials needed, you'll have your learning objectives and your vocabulary. It's a really nice touch to have that vocabulary, especially if you want to create a quick vocabulary quiz to correspond with this lesson. You already have them right here. And then it goes into step by step, how would you use this lesson in your classroom? So let's look at what the student would see. We'll click right here. You could also access this simply through browsing all topics or searching extreme weather. This layout is very similar to what you would see in Flix and in Flix, are other scholastic sites that are geared just a slight bit more towards middle school and primary. Flix could probably be used a little bit for both middle school and high school. The difference here with Science Flix is the read it portion is not going to be a book. It's going to be an online article. So you have your introductory video, you have your read it. One of the key really nice features of Science Flix is that you can change the complexity of what you're reading. So if you have multiple children along multiple age ranges and you just want to teach one thing today, you want one specific lesson, you could potentially use this lesson for multiple children and even still keep it as rigorous as each child needs when it comes to reading and their learning independently. You do have the read aloud option. Looking up a word, emailing, printing, those are all things that you can do here. I want to show you just a little bit more. You do have different articles that are corresponding. You also have related websites from outside of Scholastic. It's important to remember, but it is websites that Scholastic has found relevant and helpful to use for further learning. You will have a writing prompt. Sometimes you'll even have a science experiment, depending on what it is. In this case, you do. But that's really fun to be able to go in and look at the science experiments. Let's open this one to show you what that looks like. Tornado in a bottle. You have the video, you have observations, hypothesis, objectives, materials, all of it right here on Science Flix. And then if your student is really interested in this sort of thing, if you find a lesson where your student just, man, I like this stuff. Science Flix does have the careers feature as well. It's built into the lessons themselves. So once you've done a lesson, you can look at the career. It gives you information and even just factual stats about how good this career is, how promising this career would be, what this career requires of your student. You can also just go right up here at Careers in Science, and you can search and browse for different careers. So all of that is right here in Science Flix. And just remember to get back to the home page. We're good to go. Here we are at Access Science. We'll look at for faculty. This will give you a view as a teacher. As the teacher, how would you use this site? We'll also look at media, and we'll be looking at some of the articles through our browsing feature here as well. But I'll show you what it looks like. The editor's picks do change. You have popular this week, then you have your browsing, your categories, and your searching. If you go to for faculty, you can get very helpful curriculum maps. Curriculum maps can help you really figure out what all do you need to teach in your science course. Let's look at chemistry. So for introductory chemistry, you have these topics. And for each of these topics, Access Science gives you either diagrams, graphs, tables, and any other helpful media that can help you teach specific concepts within the different topics. So for chemical elements, you have your diagram. You get the diagram, but you also get into a relevant article. This one is particularly in organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. And so these are very useful tools for your curriculum mapping as you figure out the different topics within chemistry and the different tools you can use to teach chemistry. Let's go and browse chemistry. When you browse chemistry, you have the different kinds, different subtopics of chemistry. You have what's trending currently in this topic. And let's pick an article. These articles can be emailed, printed, cited, and shared. They'll have related media and even biographies nearby. And you'll see inside the articles things such as this, very helpful to get those equations. And you'll have a works cited at the bottom as well. Let's go look at it for additional reading. Let's say we wanted to look at media related to chemistry. We go to media. We're in the videos and animations. Chemistry. So here are some wonderful, helpful videos. Let's check one out.
Nothing beats the unique flavors of a summertime grill session. When the sun's out, there's really no other way to eat. And good lord, are there a lot of amazing chemical reactions happening over those flames. Get a bucket for your drool. We're about to get hit with some grill chem.
You'll notice as well that there are hyperlinks to similar topics within Access Science. This is just a really quick overview of things that you can access in Access Science. This is Pronunciator. Pronunciator is accessible through our research databases page. Pronunciator also has an app. You can register for Pronunciator or you can go straight to instant access. I'm going to use that just to show you what's available. So Pronunciator, you don't have to just be an English-speaking person wanting to learn another language. Let's say you are someone who knew Arabic and you wanted to learn French. Pronunciator has the capability to teach you how to transfer and to teach you that new language. Let's just say for now that I want to learn Latin American Spanish. There are different options. You can do quick daily lessons, you can personalize a course just strictly for you, or you can use a ready-made course that's already available. I want to show you the personalized courses. You would create one. You can create in 2 different ways. You can simply select topics that are interesting to you, topics that fuel your desire to learn a new language, or you can select your occupation and learn specifically for your occupation. So let's say I want to learn about pets, mind and body, school and education, and you have to pick at least 5. So let's say house and home as well. They ask you your skill level. You'll notice that Pronunciator can be useful for anyone of any age who's wanting to learn. Let's say I'm a teen who has 16 weeks to learn this course. I want more quizzes and fewer drills. I want to use my microphone, but I do not want to use my webcam. You have all of that you can choose. What's most important? Most important for me is speaking, understanding, then reading, and then writing. No, I do not want a daily reminder via email. And then giving my course a name. I'll start. Give it some time to figure out how your course would look. And then we just go back to personalized courses and click on Spanish.
Idea.
So the way they did this one, and everybody's is different depending on your course. You're going to have repetition. You'll have, this gentleman is speaking, it helps to figure out how your mouth should be when you are practicing your new words. So it's starting off
Yo me quedé.
strictly auditory and visual, looking at how he pronounces the words. Flashcards here give you a picture association with the word.
Idea.
So this is idea, and you'll keep on going through them and you can rate how well you knew them. So the more likely, or the easier that you knew them, the less you'll see them in your flashcard drills.
Idea. Idea.
So this one is combining the 2 because you have the video, but then you need to figure out, do you remember how to spell
Idea.
idea? You have voice comparison options. You can make sure that your microphone is accessible, but you can even get your voice comparison graded. They'll give you a percentage of just how similar was your speaking to the speaking in the program. This is a very quick introduction to Pronunciator. This is Mango. Reminder that it can be reached both through going to the online learning icon and by going to research databases. I'm logged into Mango now to show you what it looks like when you first log in once you've started a subject, you started a language. I have it to where I'm learning Spanish. If you go right here though, you can resume, delete your lesson, or find a new language if you're wanting to add a new study. Mango teaches categorically. So you have these categories, this content that you learn within a specific chapter. And through that, they have grammar scattered throughout. So just so you know kind of how it's laid out, right now I'm looking at introductions, the salutations and small talk. The next chapters are language and origins, introductions and professions, personal info. Then you keep on going further. You get into food and drink, you get into money, you get into transportation. So you have some flexibility here. By logging in and picking something to start doing. You have your conversational goals and a grammar goal. So this is kind of an introduction into what grammar will come into this lesson.
Even if it seems hard now, you'll learn to have conversations like this easily by the end of the chapter.
Bienvenida. Pase, por favor. ¿Me permite su abrigo?
Gracias. Su casa es hermosa. Me encanta esa lámpara roja de allá.
Gracias. Permítame mostrarle la casa. Esa es la sala de estar y esas puertas dan al patio. Este pasillo da a la cocina y los cuartos están en el segundo piso.
Su casa es muy acogedora.
Muchas gracias.
Just remember, this is a further lesson. This isn't an introductory lesson, but each lesson starts with an introduction like this, a conversation. And so this is basically your end goal, is to become comfortable enough to be able to have this conversation.
When saying, welcome, to a male, you use
Bienvenido.
And so now you'll get the breakdown of the different words and the different phrases and the pertinent grammatical information as you're going through this video. You have where you can compare your voice. You have the pronunciation spelled out like that for you, and then you have a replay to hear it again.
Do you remember how to say, welcome, to a man?
Bienvenido.
If you're addressing a woman, can you figure out how you would say, welcome?
Bienvenida.
Try to say, to turn.
And so these are the different phrases that you would go through for this particular lesson. And then it builds up to get you back into that conversation that you originally were listening to. This is a really quick introduction into Mango. This is Learning Express. I'm already logged in. Learning Express does require you to register with an email address. This is your home page, so once you have started working on certain things, they'll show up right here, depending on what type of thing it is. I'll show you the centers. Learning Express has a lot on it. It starts in elementary school. It heavily leans towards high school and adult college preparation, career preparation as well. So these are just some of the preparations that you have on here. So cosmetology exams, allied health, you have tests on here, and I'll show you what a test looks like soon. They really can be used for review, very much so. You have your high school GED information, you have ACT, SAT, your school center, which we'll go to in just a moment. You have college help and reviews. You have adult core skills, including citizenship information, and then you do have information in Spanish as well. Let's go to the school center, and go to high school. So let's say that we needed American history practice. Here you have specific reviews. You can download an ebook. It's U.S. Constitution in 15 minutes a day. So this is a book that can be useful to help you learn. You can start any of these tests and print them out. So let me go ahead and start one to let you see what they look like. You have options with these. Here's information about the test, but then you can choose a test mode. You can do practice, So once you've finished, you will get your answers, or you can do learner. So when you do learner, after every answer, you get an explanation and you get information to make sure you understand that concept before you move on. To show you what the ACT would look like, here's all the different things. You have tutorials, you have an entire ebook, and then you have the practice test. So the English test preparation tutorial, all of this is accessible through Learning Express. So this is a tutorial that's going to go over all of these English concepts before you even start the practice test. This is a great place to start if you're feeling overwhelmed about how you need to be preparing for such a test. You go into the lessons. Sorry about that. And so this is giving you an overview, and then it gives you, do you remember what you just read? Let's go up here, 45 minutes, and then 75 questions. And there you go. So this is a tutorial going step by step. Do you understand the concept that this is speaking about? It gives you a quick little check the main idea. Do you catch on? And it gives you all this information about what the ACT will look like for you. This is just the tutorial. We can go back and look at a test. You can print the test out if you want to do it on paper. And you can decide even here, do you want to do a complete simulation? It's timed, it'll stop as soon as the timer is gone. Do you want to practice where the test is timed, but the timing isn't enforced? Or do you want to be a learner where every step you'll get the answer and the explanation as you go along? It's really wonderful how Learning Express gives these different options to learn. This is a quick introduction into Learning Express. Let's look at Universal Class. Universal Class is unique. If you would like, your student can create an account on here, choose a course to learn, and interact with other students in that course. It is important to note that there are some privacy settings that you and your student would have to agree upon in order to have a really smooth experience with Universal Class. There are some options, and I'll show you what those are. For new users, you would enter your library card number. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So now that I've logged in, this is my home page. The first thing you'll see is there's a class that I'm taking. I'm taking a homeschooling course on unit studies. There are over 40 courses on Universal Class specifically about homeschooling. So parents out there, if you're really wanting some help on constructing your homeschooling experience for your students, this may be a great place to start too. I'll enter the course that I'm in. You'll notice I have some to-dos, and I've already finished lesson 1, so this is my current lesson. And I'll let you know I had to do an exam, an introduction, and a little assignment as well. Go to my report card, and you'll see so far I have a 98% in my grade. I set this course up to where I would do the entire thing with the graded portions. And so I am interacting with my teacher. I am not interacting with other members of this particular course. If you click the person and account options, you get into your privacy settings. So my profile is not visible. You can decide if people can contact you from your classmates, and you can have a request setting set up already. But this is an important page to go to, and for you and your student to be on the same page about if you are concerned about any privacy or concerned just about the different options. Let's go look at other courses. So we can search, or we can just look at the categories. Let's look even further down here, and you see featured courses, popular courses, and just more information about Universal Class itself. Let's look at psychology. Psychology 101. It gives you the continuing education units. If you click on it, you'll see it's 18 lessons and take an average of 16 hours to finish this. And to join the course and its completion, you'll have 29 exams and assignments. This course has videos. Not all courses have videos in the lessons. You get your course description, and you'll notice the areas of study involved with this, and any other related courses. Let's join. And here you can decide, do you want to join to get the certificate, or do you want to join just to get the videos? This is where you once again have some freedom in what you want to do. The certificate class will have the assignments. So you see the difference right there. I'm in normal mode for the unit study so that I do have the exams, I do have the assessments, and I do have to have a specific grade to get my certificate. But this gives you some freedom in how you do it and how you interact with the course. So here's your video. And here are all of the videos. For the other option where you do it where you get graded, you have to fully complete the first one, including the assessments, before you move on to the next lesson and so forth. This is a great start to really looking into anything that you're interested in. If you're wanting to really delve into any particular study, Universal Class is a really fun place to start. The two Worldbook sites we will be looking at here are Worldbook Dramatic Learning and Worldbook Advanced. Worldbook Dramatic Learning is good for any student who needs help with speech or who wants to pursue drama. On the website, you have your teaching tools with your curriculum correlations, lesson plans, and assessment rubric. This assessment rubric covers all of the different activities in the lesson plans. The rubric just goes over writing skills, computer skills, making connections, listening and speaking, and self-assessment. So this is a quick stop for a way to grade the different activities here in Dramatic Learning. The lesson plans can be reached through here or by picking a play based on the grade level, subject, or title. If we go to our grade level list, we have all of them, 6 through 12. We'll look at the Odyssey. You'll notice to the right, it lists the different subjects that are relevant to this play. So that's really good for cross-curricular ideas. So here we are at the Odyssey. We can get to our content standards, our script, and our lesson plans. There are 8 different lessons that go with this play. You have World Book articles on the topics within this play. You also have links to an outside website, PBS, for further reading. Let's look at the lesson plan. And you'll have a downloadable student page that goes with this particular lesson. You have instructions for the educator and for the student. Let's go look at the play. You can print this play out and you can email it as well. We have our cast of characters. And then we can move on to begin the play. So this is a quick look at World Book Dramatic Learning. Now let's look at World Book Advanced. We'll look at the browsing options in a moment, but first I want to direct you to the For Educators Educator Tools. Here you will find lesson plans and web quests and further links to other websites that could be educationally useful. For the lesson plans, you have links to other websites. Excitement gives wonderful lesson plans. If we click on one here, you can narrow it down based on grade range. Let's look at A Raisin in the Sun. So this is a lesson plan on the play by Lorraine Hansberry. You have introductory information and guiding questions. Then you have your learning objectives and all of your lesson plan details. You have your content standards. You have what you will need to prepare, including an introductory video. Then you have your lesson activities. You'll notice that there are hyperlinks to relevant information for this activity. Then you have assessments, and then you have the lesson extensions and reference websites. All there. So this is just a quick look at how you can access wonderfully helpful lesson plans through WorldBook. Let's go back and search. If we click here on Gilded Page, you'll have an article that can be read aloud and you can change the voice. You'll see there are hyperlinks to relevant articles within this own article. And if you go to related information, you'll have encyclopedia articles and magazine articles on similar topics. Note that some of them are outside of WorldBook. This is within WorldBook here. This one has more media. If you click on images, videos, and audio, you'll get those photos listed together. This is just a very quick look at how you can use WorldBook Advanced. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that you find some useful resources here. If you have any questions, please give us a call, email us, or you can comment on this YouTube video. Our reference staff in particular would love to help you find any other resources like books and movies that would be good enhancements to using these online resources. I do hope you have a wonderful school year.